We going into the boundary,
into the boundary, going into the boundary, huh? We going into the boundary, going into the boundary, huh? We going into the boundary, going into the boundary, huh?
They say you an athlete, shut up and dribble. Finish your career, you stuck in the middle. Figured it out that you stuck with the riddle. Broke your body down, got stuck in the spittle. Might have had pro dreams and you made it to the top. Might have make it to the lead, but you made it off the block. They were screaming your name, Lifetime dreams is to get in the game. Now you up in your dorm, trying to tighten your plan. Got a lot on your plate, do it right for the fam. Do it right for the fans, got it right in your hands. Everybody can't go, falling out with your man. They never understand what you going through. They never understand what you dream about. They never understand. When we clear it up, I hope you understand. We just putting it out, you never heard the stuff on how I blew the bag and I spurs and stuff. Used to be the man, I never heard it cuz. Got a lot to say, I got some words for cuz.
Welcome to Into the Boundary, the podcast with no boundaries, where sports meet real life. I'm your host, Lou Mobley, and today we're going into the boundary with the 2005 Indoor 400-meter Philadelphia Catholic League champion and the 2006 Outdoor 100-meter Philadelphia Catholic League champion, a licensed general contractor and the owner of B&D headquarters, Dane Davis. Into the Boundary, season 4, we back. We got my man Dane here, man. We just celebrated our 2-year anniversary.
Yeah.
You know, you've been telling me like, yo, what I got to do to get on the show? You know, he was like, I'm out here doing my thing. Wasn't you pressing me like that?
A little bit, yeah, man.
He was like, man, I ain't one of the better Newman bulls that's out here doing my thing. No, I'm happy you invited us in your home and allow us to start shooting, man. Let's jump into it, man. So, licensed general contractor. Talk to me about it. How did you end up there?
I ended up there by just taking baby steps to where I ended up wanting to be. So I started off when I bought my first crib. I was just like doing a lot of renovations by myself, and there, me and my wife. And I just was realizing like, yo, I know a lot more than people know. So I just kept taking it to the next level, like just pushing the bar. And all that stuff kind of transitioned, like me getting fired from my job and all that stuff. It kind of transitioned while I was trying to get my general contractor's license. Like I was at work pretty much focused on trying to get my OSHAs and not focused on my actual job. Like I was getting my work done, but not to the efficiency that they wanted me to get it done. Because I was really halfway out.
No, let's stay there for a second. So, like, where was you working? What kind of work was you doing? And you know, let's go through that step by step.
Damn, where was I working? It don't even matter no more. Nah, but Allied Universal. I worked at Allied Universal. When I first got out of school, I had a few rinky-dink jobs. I worked at Abercrombie for a little bit, Abercrombie and Fitch for a little bit as a store manager. I was there for like 3 months, and then I finally landed an official job as an accountant, contract accounting at Allied Universal. 2015, I think. It was actually a week after my birthday that I started my first week there. 2015. Yeah, it was cool. But when I started realizing like, you know, this ain't the cycle I want to be in, the 9 to 5, I would come home every day tired, me and my wife, talk about what we want to do with real estate a little bit, and go to sleep, wake up, rush to work, come home. It's just the same cycle, man. I just wanted to break that curse. I was really ready to break that curse. Like it just wasn't fulfilling for me.
So let's talk about just going to work. You know, you said that they were about to fire you, but you was already halfway out mentally. Just talk about being mentally checked out.
Man, so let me think. Like me being mentally checked out was like the summer. I want to say the beginning of the summer of 2019. So, you know, as y'all can see, I got a bunch of tats and stuff. And I would go into work covering my tats, especially in the summertime. I would just keep it covered, trying to stay professional. And that summer when it started getting hot, I just had a bunch of polo shirts that I didn't wear. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna just wear these to work. Like, why am I not wearing them? I really feel like that shifted the gear of how they started to feel about me. Like, I really feel that to be true. Like, I started coming into work, everybody's like, oh, nice tats, oh, saying a little sly stuff. I just be like, whatever. But I think that was the first like mental shift of, yo, I'm Dane Davis, I'm gonna be me, and I'm not hiding the things that I have for nobody. So that started, I was already, you know, like I said, renovating. I renovated both my bathrooms in my duplex that I purchased back in 2016. And everything just started kind of shifting at the same time. Like people were starting to ask me to, like, you know, do a little flooring jobs here and there, put in a toilet for them and stuff like that. So I'm like, all right, I'll do that. Oh, I can make a little money doing that. It was cool, a little side money. And things just started elevating. Me and my wife was like, yo, we want to get another crib. So how can we do that? And like I said, just things just started turning. I met with my good friend Patrick June, who I went to Temple with. Shout out to Pat. He actually was the reason me and my wife got together. And I reached out to him about, yo, because I know he was doing this thing in real estate. So I reached out to him and was like, yo, man, how you obtaining these cribs? Like, it's such volume, you know? And he pretty much, you know, slowly started telling me, you know, different things he was doing, how to get to that point. And I just started executing. Like, that was just it. I started executing. I remember the day I got fired, my vice president actually sent me an email by mistake talking about firing me.
Wow.
Like, just imagine that. Like, he meant to send an email to some guy named Dave. I think he was like the CFO. And he sent it to me.
Do you remember what it said?
It said, first of all, they talked to me like I was my, you know, everybody got an ID number. They said ID number, I don't even remember what it was, 4722 something, will be terminated at the end of this week. I read that and I was like, okay. So, you know, me being me, I wrote my little slide stuff. That's very unprofessional. That's what I sent back to him. And it was around the end of the day, like 4 o'clock. So I just, you know, logged off. I was actually going to do some good overtime that day. I just logged off and just went home. And I'm like, listen, Britt, they about to fire me.
So nobody gonna talk. See, this is why I love our show. Nobody's gonna talk about. So what's that conversation like coming home? Hey, Britt, they about to fire me. I got this dream to do this other thing that's maybe a little inconsistent at first, but if you trust me, I can get it going. You know, talk about the faith and that backbone she gave you to go ahead and do what you're doing now.
So the crazy thing is, like I said about that 2019, that year, how I was like feeling like it wasn't fulfilling, like that cycle, going home, late as heck, we tired, we can't even really enjoy ourselves, go to sleep, wake up, get up super early, go to work. And it was just a constant cycle that wasn't being broken. So I would constantly talk to her about, hey man, this isn't it. Like, I don't know what we need to do, but this life cycle isn't it. Like, of course I'm happy with you. I'm happy with my, you know, my foundation, but it's something that needs to shift. Like, this job stuff isn't it. So, she had that. She already knew it was coming. I remember, I very strongly remember I was driving to work one day, and I just called Brittany, and I said, hey, how do you feel if I just quit? Like, I'm done. And that answer really was going to be the key to me propelling the way I wanted to, or making me feel like I got to just stay where I'm at. She said, whatever you do, I'm here for you. I just want us to be happy. I said, there we go. So ever since I asked her that question, I was mentally just preparing myself, like, the next level of what happens when I'm done this job. How are we going to keep pushing? So when I got fired, it kind of was a sweet transition for me because I was already mentally out of the job anyway.
Right.
So I was just ready. Like, I just felt I was fearless. Like, it didn't matter. Like, I was going to get it going no matter what. I always knew that me growing up, I was always a hustler. Like, you know, I always went and got it if I needed it.
Let's speak to that. So this random time, we was at the bars up in Westchester, and we went to the bathroom. I walked into the bathroom at the bar. It was like Barnaby's or something.
It was Landmark.
Landmark. Sorry, shout out the wrong place that ain't paying us. Anyway, I went to go in the bathroom. I'm like, Dane? Oh, Lou, what's up? I'm like, what are you doing? He was in here being like, had the bathroom attendant stuff going, and it was cool. He had cologne, he had condoms, he had chewing gum, and I'm like, and I know Dane went to school, so it's not like, yo, he ain't here because he messed up. It's like, no, Dane be hustling. Like, Dane in here Friday, Saturday, they go to work Monday through Friday. Like, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, man. I was doing that for 10 years.
10 years.
I was doing it since I was 20 years old, man. Like, I remember when I actually stepped foot in the bathroom doing that, it kind of opened my eyes to like, yo, you kind of make something out of anything.
Right.
You know what I mean? You just got to have that work ethic. So it kind of transitioned to like me knowing that I was going to be good after I left the 9 to 5, because it's like, man, I was in a bathroom selling mints, making $200 a night. Like,
And what was your arrangement with the bar?
I just set up some contracts with certain bars and said, hey, I'm able to come in Friday, Saturday. It didn't have to actually be me, but my business, come in and provide the service for you guys, and we'll make sure the bathroom's clean. We'll make sure that nobody messes anything up. And we'll probably bring some more business in, because people really like coming in the bathroom talking to us and like getting their mints or their cologne, feeling fresh when they go out, holler at the girls, whatever they want to do. They felt like, oh, they can come in the bathroom and just, have everything accessible for them to, get fresh. So it worked out. That was, now looking back at it, it was kind of sloppy because I didn't form an LLC. I didn't have no real, like, quote unquote business. It was just my word of mouth, me writing the contract, them signing it, and me knowing, all right, I'm cool to come here every weekend if I wanted to. So.
No, it was dope, man. I don't want to hear you beat yourself up about it. We didn't know all that back then, but
right.
it was popping in. So after you got fired, what was your next move? What was your next play?
So when I got fired, I still was dabbling in the bathroom, doing that for a little bit. But I realized, like, the most important thing in my life was freedom and mobility. Like, I wanted to be able to travel with my family when I wanted. I wanted to be able to not worry too much about how much money it costs to do whatever I wanted to do with my family. So I was doing that for a little bit, and I just felt like it still wasn't fulfilling. It wasn't enough. I actually got my first job when I got fired from my guy, Jove. Shout out to J-O-V. He has a triplex in Southwest, and he allowed me to renovate the kitchen and bathroom for him just to get him going. And I did that successfully in like a month and a half. And that was my first like income outside of, working at 9 to 5. So that felt real good. Fast forward after that, I actually was already in the process of acquiring a rental property with my good friend Pat, who I spoke about earlier, and Britt. And I acquired that, and then we started going in on the renovations in January. And I got everything renovated in like 4 months. And I was my own GC. And that felt really good, because I'm like, yo, I feel like I could really be in this game. Because like, I was getting a lot of good feedback on how I was doing things. I mean, of course, there was a lot of bumps in the road, but I got to the finish line.
No, like let's just talk about it. So like, what are the real steps to becoming a general contractor?
So it's actually simpler than most people think. You got to get your OSHAs, which is occupational health and safety. You got to get that card. It's 30 hours of them just pretty much teaching you the steps of what's right and what's wrong to do on a job site. You do that, and then you got to get some insurance. You got to get an LLC, of course, and that's pretty much it, man. Like, you do that, and then you just keep going with the projects you got going on, and you're learning as you go. Like, for me, I think that's the biggest thing. Like, don't be scared. Just jump and just do what you got to do. There's a bunch of people in this world that's going to be able to help you propel to where you need to be, anywhere you need to be. Just don't be scared to like jump and just get it done.
Yeah, a lot of people definitely afraid to just start. They'll find all the procrastination. It ain't perfect. It ain't really gotta be perfect.
Ain't nothing ever perfect.
Right. So, but how long did it take you to get all that stuff done to get that thing going?
It really took about I want to say 2 weeks. It took like a month to get all the paperwork and everything situated. It took like a month.
What about all the studying and stuff like that? Was a lot?
So ironically, I was lucky enough to kind of know a little bit of what I needed to know, because my dad, he knew how to pretty much build a house from the ground up. He was a housing inspector for 20 years. So I didn't realize that there was a lot of stuff that I knew just growing up, helping my dad, going to Home Depot all the time with him and doing different things. So really for me, it was just trial and error, because like I said, I was already fixing up my own kitchen and my own bathroom. And I think those are the two biggest things when it comes to renovations. Like, a lot of people are scared to like step into something like that. Like, they feel like that's a big thing, but I'm already doing like whole houses now. But yeah, kitchen and bathroom is like the top renovations for any area, any residential area or any residential thing. So I just feel like I was ready.
So at this point in the story, how many properties do you quote unquote own?
Right now I have 6.
No, and the point in the story where
the point in the story, I had 2.
Mm-hmm. And you're living in one, and you're renting the other one.
Yep.
No, just go back to you one of the firm believers in house hacking.
Yep.
Just talk to me about that concept and kind of break it down for our viewers and our listeners about living in one unit and renting the other and the benefits.
So me and my wife, we got our first crib 2016, May of 2016, and we decided to get a duplex first. And because we decided to do that because we could live in one unit, like Lou just said, and then rent out the other unit. So the other unit was already rented out fully by this old couple that was in there for 25 years. So we literally bought a house with the FHA loan, 3.5% down, which was about like $5,000, instantly getting cash flow. So the mortgage was about $1,100. We were getting $700 from the tenants. Boom, that's already you saving $700 on a mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
And we ended up saving that up until we had enough to get a down payment for the next house, which was 3 blocks away to the house we're in now. So
that's a blessing. Some people seem shaky about the whole house hacking thing and like living too close to the tenant. If you have a bad relationship, they live above you or below you.
Mm-hmm.
And you had any bad experiences, or what do you think of that?
We had annoying experiences. It wasn't per se bad. It was like little stuff, but for the most part, we just kept a tight knit on what we needed to get done. So we knew that we needed to renovate their bathroom, their kitchen, and we let them know, hey, soon we're going to have this going for you. But sometimes it's about the relationship and the communication with the tenants. The house we bought, it wasn't in bad shape. It was built in like 1979, so it wasn't like real old. So it was a lot of stuff that was still pretty fairly new. But yeah.
So let's talk about being able to pull. I think you told me before you pulled equity out of one to get the second one.
Yep.
Just talk about that. I need you to give the expertise, man. I'm not the expert. I don't do this, so I need you to share with us. How do people do that?
So when we bought our crib, we bought it for $157,000, I think. After 2 years, the equity went up. It was worth like $250,000. What I did was I went and got a home equity line of credit out on the house, so we were able to pull the amount of money the value that was worth outside of what we already had the mortgage on. So I think it ended up being like $56,000 because you only could take 75% of that extra work. So the house we bought it for $157,000. It appraised for $250,000. So that's like don't quote me, like $93,000 that we was able to pull, and then 75% of that was $56,000. So we were able to borrow $56,000 from the house and put that wherever we wanted. We could have took it out and bought a car if we wanted to, but we wanted to be smart about our investments, so we ended up buying that house in West Philly that I was talking about.
That's tough.
Yeah, man.
That's tough. So
yeah.
so let's just keep going.
OPM.
So now we walking in homes where we down to the shell, and I'm really watching you grow and post these things on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite part of the process in renovating a home?
So my favorite part personally is after all the mechanicals are in, which is the HVAC, electric, plumbing. After all that's in, and then we go on the sheetrock. Like that just feels so good because once you put the sheetrock up, it's pretty much the home stretch. Like all you're doing is painting baseboards, doors, and all that good stuff to make the house actually look like something. You know what I mean? So that's my favorite part of this.
I thought you was gonna say like when you collect rent or something. I thought you was something cool.
I mean, that's always good, man. It's always good collecting that dollar. That's what everybody, strives for. But at the end of the day, I think the progression of just me excelling in what I'm doing is more important than the actual monetary of it. Because I'm learning so much after every house I'm doing. I'm learning that much more, where I can be that much more efficient, and then that money's just gonna come. You know what I mean? And that's, like I said, that's how I wanted my life to be. Like I don't want to be able to always look at chasing a dollar. I want the dollars to be able to chase me. I want to be able to just sit back, talk to you guys, and talk to you, and just know that the checks is just coming.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
B&D headquarters, man. Tell me how you came up with the name and the LLC.
So the crazy thing, the name B&D, everybody probably would think like Brittany and Dane, but it's really building and development. And I thought that was like a funny way to like get people thinking like the wrong thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So building and development, we kind of want to have our brand kind of shift with the design, building, of course, with the general contractor and everything, and then the development. So we don't want to just be someone who just builds your house and then just be done with it. We want to be able to put the design aspect in it. We want to be able to just make it something you really want to call a home. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's good because this, like my business transfers into my rental properties or my investments where I want to do, because I can also GC them as well, of course. So I can use my company to just fix up my houses, and then I turn around and fix up houses for clients the best way they want it done. So yeah, man, that's...
No, man. So right here is where I want to ask you, like, where do you see the business in 5 to 10 years? You know, right now you're saying you're sitting on 6 properties. I think you told me you got like 3 or 4 projects open right now. You busy, man, and I'm really proud of you. So like, where do you see yourself at in 5 to 10 years?
5 to 10 years, I just see myself, of course, owning more properties, just doing bigger deals. Like I'm about to actually do a commercial deal with the Sun Building, which is a big historic building in Germantown. I'm a GC that, and I just want to keep taking it to the next level. Like I can't wait to do new construction. I can't wait to actually go out to other states that actually pertain to your own design. Like I feel like Philly is more of a area where it's just like everybody's doing the same thing. Like everybody's making the houses look all the same. Where I just want to actually put my design aspect into it. Like actually like put a stamp on B&D. Like everybody will come into a house and say, "Oh, that's B&D." We already know what that design is. So that's kind of where I want to see myself.
No, that's hard. You know, we are somewhat of a sport podcast, so I gotta, you know, merge where sports meet real life. You know, and you know, I champion a lot of athletes and you know, playing sports and what it do for us on a personal level. So like, I want to ask you, like, what's some of the things from sports that you feel like help you get to where you are today?
Discipline. I feel like you got to be real disciplined to even be an entrepreneur. Like you just got to be disciplined with your funds. You can't just have, oh, you see a good $10,000 check, you just want to blow it on whatever. Teamwork. I feel like the team that I'm building are really strong right now, and I feel like that's important because of course you need a good team to be successful in sports and in life. So I just feel like it's a great way to bridge everything on what I've learned through sports.
And any more transferable skills that you think just stand out from your track and your football experience?
Getting to the finish line.
How about that?
Getting to the finish line. Like I feel like my strongest attribute is execution. I feel like no matter what, I'm gonna get to the finish line. And it's crazy because I was people say I was a good track star, and that's getting to the finish line. Whoever get there first wins. So that was just something that I always valued, like making sure something gets done. You can have a bunch of bumps in the road, but if you don't get to the finish line, you're not doing nothing.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah. I actually had a coach. I remember I was talking to him at a random cookout, and I was like, "Yo, coach," it was like 2015. I was like, "Yo, coach, how's everything going with your renovations and stuff?" Because he renovated a few of his houses, and he was like, "Yeah, man, I know you want to own your own stuff and stuff, your own crib. When you gonna do that?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, I'm just getting my paperwork together, getting my head right." He said, "Man, the next time I see you, if you don't got a crib, you just talking." He said, "You got to get to it," and that really instilled something into me because it's like, he's right. Like a lot of people talk about what they want to do, but how many people's actually doing what they want to do, or doing what they got to do? So that really instilled something into me.
You know, if you had any advice for like, you know, an athlete or a former athlete or somebody about to graduate school who was interested in becoming a GC or jumping into real estate, what would be some of the advice that you would give them right now?
Just hit me up. I'll let you know everything. Say no. Just know what you want to do the research, get the understanding, and try and connect with the right people that's going to get you to that point. I mean, anybody that's successful, they started from nothing. They started from just having an idea and just expounding on that idea. Don't be scared to just jump out and just do what you want to do, because the worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to fail, and you're going to learn from it, and you're going to do it better next time. If it don't kill you, it's going to make you stronger, and that's just how I feel with anything.
No, one of the things that you said today that stood out to me is like you were looking for freedom and mobility, right? So this is one thing that I kind of been preaching and talking about, is that I don't think I play sports or people really play sports to be famous.
Right.
You know, even to a degree, we might play for the incentive of money, right? I think what we really all want is a lifestyle, and I think that's kind of what you were talking about. Like I want to live somewhere that's super safe. I can raise my kids in suburbia, and like you're striving for a lifestyle. Like you said, I'm not worried about the bills. I can get up and go on vacation. If my kids need something, I can just afford it, and I know I can afford it. Not like I gotta wait till Friday, or could I afford it Friday? You know, I think that's something that you really hit on. Just talk about like, I think the lifestyle is the goal. What you think?
Absolutely. I mean, the lifestyle is what you make it. I mean, if you want to be someone who wants to go on vacation all the time and just make sure you just doing whatever you want, then create that lifestyle. That's just how I feel. I feel like that's a good point. To make sure that whatever you do, you just make it something that you want to do and you genuinely want to do, and you should be good.
See, one of the things that really drive into the boundaries, like I have this, something that really irritates me is like when the kids say, you know, track is all I got, football is all I got, basketball is all I got, or I'm playing this to get my mom out the hood, and you know, you put these unnecessary pressures on which you can really pull out of sports. Like the odds of us all making it pro or to the Olympics very, very slim. It don't mean that the experience wasn't didn't have value.
Right.
And when you don't make it to the league, you tend to not see, oh man, I could have been networking with this person. They just started a business. Or I could have talked to this person and learned a skill. Or you get blinded by a lot of that because it's all this pressure on, I got to make it to the pros.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people, I hear a lot of kids, I mean, even people that was growing up when I was saying like, there's only a plan A, there's no plan B. I mean, what's wrong with not having a plan B? What's wrong with not having a plan B, C, D? Like, you should have a bunch of plans. And those plans should really intertwine with just how you feel about yourself and where you want to be. It don't always have to be sports. Like, I feel like that's something that we just was taught growing up because of where we come from. You know, we feel like there's no way out. We feel like people that's not that don't look like us get better opportunities, and that's not really true. I mean, we can create any opportunities you want to create. Like, I remember being at Temple and being like one of the only black people in the school or in the classroom, and that didn't do nothing to me but just push me to make me feel like, oh, I can be in a room. You know what I mean? It don't if it's just me, then there's somebody in the room. Right. And I felt the same way when I was at my job. Like, I was one of the only young black people in my field, and I said, hey, shoot, I made it. Like, that doesn't mean anything. So I just feel like we gotta teach these youth of having a broader scale of things that you can do, you can create outside of your skill set of sports. Right. Like, you have other skill sets in your brain. So
that's huge, bro. I appreciate you saying that. On those same lines, I just feel like a lot of kids try to be rappers and entertainers and professional athletes because it's the shortest route. You know, a kid might feel like, you know, the neighborhood might be dangerous. Like, he don't see himself going to law school and going to school to be a doctor for 8 to 10 years, and he think he need the shortest way. He playing basketball to be a one and done. You know, and that takes all that pressure. Now you can't even realize who in your classroom, who some of your teammates, who do your coaches know, who one of these alum that's coming back, that Fortune 500 company or something. You missing a lot of that because all this pressure to make it pro. You know, so just know that it's a person out here that's doing something regular, that's living the lifestyle that you actually really want, that's not a professional athlete or not a rapper or entertainer, man. Like, you think that's true?
Absolutely, man. Like, but just look at me. Like, I decided to have a lifestyle of, I want to be able to travel when I want it and just have the mobility to do whatever. And I didn't need to be a professional athlete. I didn't need to be a rapper. I didn't need to be none of that stuff. And I honestly feel like if you can push yourself to that level and actually get to that level, how crazy is it that you could have that push and you could have put it to something else? Like, you know what I mean? You could have put it to anything else to just be to have that same lifestyle that you were just thriving for. And I feel like it's just like a narrow-minded way of thinking. Like, we got to teach our youth that, you know, it's more ways out than just trying to be a professional athlete, trying to be a rapper, trying to be a movie star. Like, it's just a lot of other avenues you can kind of wiggle through and make it your own too. You know what I mean? So
No, I don't think we got it. But like, what was your major at Temple? And like, we could start going in reverse, man, because I didn't even get the backstory from Newman to Temple. So like, what was your major at Temple?
My major was HR, human resources. So just to touch on that, my mother and my grandmother was strong on education. My mom got her doctorate. My grandmother, she got her master's, and she was a registered nurse. And I just looked at education just being the ceiling. No matter what, you had to get your education. So going through the motions of that, I just started really realizing like it's more to it than just getting that degree. You know what I mean? Like, I'm over here being a GC, and I didn't need my degree at all. But I just still feel good that I actually got it because, one, I want to be able to meet my wife. And I wouldn't have been able to have the connection to certain people that I'm talking to that actually went to Temple, went to Lincoln, and stuff like that. But, yeah, man, I mean...
No, let's pick up from... So I know Dane from Newman.
Mm-hmm.
One of my Newman guys.
Mm-hmm.
I transferred to Newman. I think he was a senior. True. That's true.
I was a senior, yeah.
Okay.
I transferred, yeah.
But I want to start with some of the sports and the glory days now, man. And Dane's such a character, it don't even make no sense. Dane, Terrence, none of these guys was like serious. And like me and Mark was like so serious about football.
Man.
And like Dane and Terrence was just like, they could stuff you in the locker every day. They would. That was their vibe. You feel me? They running down the hallway playing Star Wars with invisible lifesavers. That's the type of dudes they was. I'm just keeping it big. But I love them. You know what I mean? So, just talking about your experience. You went to Roman first too.
Yeah, I went to Roman.
See, we gotta get to all that. So talking about going to Roman. Did you play sports there?
Yeah, I played basketball. I played basketball 9th and 10th grade, and then I actually got cut my junior year going in, and that semester, that's when I transferred to Newman. So I actually did a semester at Roman, like a little quarter, and then I transferred to Newman.
So you went to school with Brad and all of them.
I went to school with Brad and all of them. Yeah. Brad and Brian.
Shout out to them.
Yeah, shout out to them. Roman was different. I mean, of course there was no, girls, no females, but that really was what brought out my character, because it's like there's no girls to like show off to or nothing like that. So I was just being myself 100%. So I actually think it's funny because when I transferred to Newman, I get in front of like Tone and B Jack and those type of dudes, and they're like, "Yo, bro, calm it down a little bit. Like, yo, tuck your shirt in, yo." Like they all cool and stuff, and I'm like, "Oh shoot, I gotta transition to this. Like, it's actually the other sex in this joke. I gotta start straightening
they
up.
Gotta get their status together,
right?" But nah, man, Roman and Newman was completely different when it comes to like kind of the politics, I think, of sports. Because at Roman, I felt like I had to like really prove myself so much that nobody was caring. Like they was recruiting these people over whoever just because they was like close knit family members or whatever. And I'm not trying to bash Roman. Like I've met a lot of good friends at Roman. I actually wish I still I always wish I loved Roman. Like Roman was cool, but I felt like for me personally, it just wasn't getting. I wasn't getting out of it what I need to get out of it with the sports, because I knew that I was an athlete. I knew I could excel and get my education through sports by going to a better school, like Newman Goretti, who was more open to like finding talent out of people. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, man. I mean, that was a crazy transition.
You got the Newman, them basketball dreams went away.
Oh yeah.
Scoop and DJ and Earl.
Right. Yeah, I was done with basketball by the time I got over there. I was ready.
So did you play to that point?
My first time ever playing football was actually at Roman. I didn't get no time on the varsity level, and that's really was one of those things where it's like, yo, I can't sit around and just not play. Like I'm wasting my time. So found a coach. My dad was cool with Coach Steve. They talked and said I would have been a great fit at Newman Goretti. So I said, you know what? Forget it. I'm over there. And that was when I actually started running track too at Roman. And they had Coach Bob there at the time, and he was the person who really propelled me to like make me think like, yo, I can be something in track. Because after every meet, he was like, yo, your time was you ran 11-2 in the 100. Like that's crazy. Like you just playing around. You ain't even got the right sneakers on. I'm like, oh shoot. long story short, I didn't run no 11.2. Like I was running like slower times, but he kind of made me feel like, oh shoot, I can be something. Like he pushed that positive energy into me to make me feel like, yo, I can really do this. So when I got to Newman, it was just out of this world. Just me just getting crazy awards, just coming out of the woodwork of me being real good at track. And,
so you ran track sophomore year and freshman year at Roman?
Nah, I just ran sophomore year, and
right,
I was just bull crapping.
And then you went to Newman junior year.
I was solidified. I was ready. I was ready for a new transition. Yeah.
So just talk about some of your best events and some of your highs in your career in track, man.
So my best event is the 400. Like I would kill people in the 400. I hated running it because it hurt. It took a lot out of your body to run that 400. And people that run track know. They know what I'm talking about. But I always wanted to run. I like running the 100. I was actually the 100 meter champion my senior year, outdoor track. And I won the 400 indoor my senior year. So I was pretty fast. Man.
You got some stories. We not gonna ignore this. Chris Lordich, man. Tell me about him on the football field, and tell me about him on the track, man.
That's a crazy athlete right there, man. Lordich, he got my number, man. Still to this day, like I really wish I could run that back. So I remember my senior year, which was his junior year, actually. He just won the 400, I think, the year prior. So I'm on his heels. I'm like, yo, that's my favorite. That's my best race. This year, I'm killing him. It doesn't matter. So every meet that I looked on Ted Solari at the time, I was looking at Ted Solari after every meet, looking at people's times. And Lordich always had a slower time than me. So I'm like, yo, I got him this year. Like, this ain't nothing. He running like 51s, 50s, and stuff like that. I'm running like 49, 48s, 50s, and stuff like that. So I'm like, yo, I got him this year. That championship meet, he cooked me. I was in the lead for a little bit. Then all you could hear was a whoop, whoop. And he just...
His ass got whooped.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's all good. I mean, and then we got into the 200, and that was a close race. Like the 200, we was like neck and neck. I remember, and then he just had me on the head, a little head nod joint at the finish line. But that was my best competition right there.
No, facts, man. So just talk a little bit about your recruiting in track, man, and like your prospects to go to college and.
Okay, so track was a good thing for me because I didn't realize I was that fast. Like I would actually think back on when I was younger. A lot of people was like, "Oh, you're really fast, man." I was like, "Yeah, whatever." But it just started propelling me, like in the thought process of me being fast. But as for recruiting, I actually had a partial scholarship to go to Nova. I had a partial scholarship to go to Purdue, and there's a few other schools. But I ended up going to Lincoln University, which I really feel like was a mistake personally. I just didn't like their training style, and I really didn't like the environment personally. Like HBCUs is great, but just for me personally, I would rather have went to a different type of school because the HBCUs, like I'm around my community all my life, and I just feel like at that point in my life, I wanted to just experience a different type of environment. But that's, like I said, that's just me personally. But I wish I went to Nova. I mean, I was looking for those full rides, and they wasn't coming, so I just ended up kind of going to the historical school that my mom wanted me to go to. So
yeah. So you
what's up?
so you chose to go to the school that your mom wanted you to go to. So you didn't choose the school that your dad wanted you to go to.
Right.
Where your dad wanted you to go?
My dad wanted me to go to Nova.
Yeah. Yeah.
My dad wanted me to go to Nova, man. Like, I don't know. I mean, I love my dad. I mean, he was my coach all throughout my sports years, and I just feel like I made a bad decision there, but I don't regret anything in my life. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because it showed me where I'm at today. Like, it showed me the steps of at least getting to the finish line, which is getting my degree. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That was more important for me.
When you stopped running, did you feel like you lost a part of you, or like, because people go through like these identity crises, you know, not having sports. You've been playing sports for all these years, become a part of your personality. When you stopped, did you feel like damn, I don't run no more. Like I ain't 400 Dane no more. You felt like that?
Yeah, I had that thought in my head. I had the crisis or whatever. I know what you mean. But I just said, you know what? I'm gonna just find a different avenue. You know what I mean? I'm gonna just start something different. I mean, like I said, sports I'll never take back because it taught me a lot of the discipline and a lot of the teamwork aspects that I use right now, and of course the relationships. Like I wouldn't have known you if I ain't played football at Newman. I wouldn't have known a lot of people that I'm still cool with to this day. So I would never take it back. But
no, every time I get a Newman guy on here that played for Coach Steve Smith, man, I always get them to, tell stories about him, man. Keep his legacy going, man, because I think he raised and helped so many of us, man. So you got any stories about Coach Steve, or you got any nice words you want to say about, we got a lot of bus rides, man. I know you got some stories.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I miss my coach, man. I miss R.I.P. Coach Steve. Yeah, if it wasn't for Coach Steve, I wouldn't have been able to get the looks that I was getting in track. I wouldn't have been able to have been on the pedestal I was at with track or football. You know what I mean? He had a belief in me. He saw something in me that I didn't even see. And I'm 100% grateful for that, forever grateful for that. There's a few stories with Coach Steve, man, but I'm going to just pinpoint one. I remember it was at the football season. We was getting ready for the track season. He wanted me to be a leader so bad. He's like, yo, man, you're the best runner on our squad. I need you to get serious. And you know me, I'm always playing, not taking nothing serious. And we was having a practice, and he just kept telling us to run these 400s. And he just kept pushing me. He said, Dane, keep running the 400. And I just kept running. I'm like, Coach Steve, I'm tired as heck. What you doing? And he was like, man, you see how you saying you tired? Look at everybody behind you. They all following your lead. They act like they tired too. Keep running and keep pushing yourself and just be a good leader for the guys that's behind you because they really looking up to you right now.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like it's a lot of stuff that he instilled in me, man. Like he always treated me like another father, and I'm grateful for that.
No, Coach Steve had a way of like getting with you without getting with you.
Right.
Like he ain't never say nothing fly to you on the bus after a meet, a good or bad meet.
Steve had a lot of words for me, man. Calling me an asshole. I mean, that's just so much, man. I can't pinpoint a specific thing.
You know, it's interesting, like, because he was such a good dude, you would let him coach you that way. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a problem. Like nowadays, you can't really be like that. But like, Coach Steve had said this one thing to me one time. I was going into my senior year, projected to start right tackle, and I was doing good. And then I went to vacation in Florida, me and Dane, and I came back. Our first game was like North Catholic, or next week was like KK, and I was just like 20 pounds heavier. He was like, Lou, we should never let you go to Florida. He was like, you was good before you went to Florida, but I don't know who you are now. And then he called like a quick pitch or something against KK, and quick pitch to tackle, run out and block the corner. You remember it play? Yeah. And he was like, man, Lou, you can't block nobody out there. You look like a bear on ice skates. grinding me up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, now we got to spend half the season getting you in the shape, man. If you would have just never went on vacation, he was just giving it to me, man. But
Coach Steve, man.
I miss Coach Steve. You have a few people that influence your life, and I met him at a good time. I was probably about 16, 17 years old. He's from our neighborhood, and he used to get his hair cut in the same barbershop we got our hair cut at, and that's how I met him. Me and Kadeem kind of met him around the same time. But yeah, he changed the trajectory of my life as well. So I feel you when you say that. It's hard to pinpoint stories. It's been so long, but the impact is there, man. The impact is still there. Like, like even when I went back to coaching at Newman, he would come and park his van and sit in his chair outside of the practice fence, and he'd be like, what you calling down there in the red zone? Why you calling slants on the 4-yard line? Like, he'll say that. And then he went to the Beach Bowl when I was coaching under Coach Dane, and I was the OC. And he was like, see, that's why you throw a pick on the goal line. You're throwing slants on the goal line.
Crazy.
He was
real subtle with it, too.
Yeah, and I remember, like, right before he passed, man, he was like, we're going to get together and watch some film so we could help me get more creative in the red zone. Just being transparent. And we never got together because he passed away. Never got together, dog. You know, because he would have had me down there doing power recs out of the ISO and the wing tip. You know what I mean? He would have had me getting crazy. But you know, man, you got anything else you want put on wax with us, man?
I mean, what about Coach Steve?
About anything, man.
I mean, if you got an aspiration and you got a goal, like, be smart and pinpoint those steps to get to that goal. It don't got to be getting from one end to being nowhere to just being somewhere. Like, you got to take those precautionary steps to slowly get to where you got to go. If you look back, you're going to be really, really, really successful in anything you do. You just got to keep pushing forward. And I feel like a lot of people don't really realize how easy it is if you just get your mind right and just pursue what you want to do on your time, the way you want to do it. But you got to be serious, though. You can't be procrastinating and saying, I'm going to do it tomorrow, I'm going to do it tomorrow. Like, you got to be serious. You're going to get there. You're going to get there.
And tell the people, man, it's okay to still be figuring it out, man. Like, it's okay.
Still figuring it out. If you're not figuring it out, then you're doing something wrong. I mean, there's always something you got to learn. There's always something you can learn. There's always something you will learn. You just got to keep pushing towards it. You just got to keep pushing towards it. And then just, you know, life is good, man. Like, life is how you want it to be. If you want life to be the way you want it, then you got to push for it. You got to push for those goals. And I just strongly feel like you got to just keep going, no matter what. You just got to keep going.
No, for sure, man. Season 4, Into the Boundary, B&D headquarters, man. It's a wrap.
I hope you understand. We just putting it out. You never heard the stuff on how I blew the bag and I spurs and stuff. Used to be the man. I never heard it, cuz. Got a lot to say. I got some words for cuz. We going into the boundary, erasing the boundary. They're making the boundary, replacing the boundary. Showing you direction when you facing the boundary. Pushing it further.
He just played.
Hold on.
What up? My name is Dane Davis.
No,
man. We
answer
into the
this
boundary with
question.
my guy right here, Lou Mo.
No, listen, Dane.
If you're a former athlete and you want to get with it,
No.
get with it.
Hey, Dane, look,
I
Dane.
know.
Don't.
5 people I'd have dinner with, dead or alive. Oh.
Where's the distance?
You ready? How y'all doing? My name is Dane Davis.
All right, bro. I gotta delete that joke real quick.
Ready?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Dane Davis. One transferable skill is teamwork. That's it. I gotta
You gotta elaborate on
elaborate. All right.